sensational political fight of the year. This election season, heavyweights will lock horns in Gujarat. For the Bharatiya Janata Party, this is a fight for prestige, show of strength before 2019, and their time to prove people-backed GST and demonetisation policies. As Gujarat votes on the 19th, the nation will watch with bated breath.
इनकी जो जीएसटी है, ये जीएसटी नहीं है, जीएसटी, गब्बर सिंह टैक्स.
While temple hopping, caste politics, political mudslinging, and the dirty tricks department cutting across party lines took centre stage this Gujarat elections, Mirror Now went on ground to find out what people want from the government they elect to power.
Couple of months where they really saw their business a huge hit, firstly due to demonetization and later due to GST, but now they say that the business is coming back to normalcy.
कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, उल्टा हमारा सेल बढ़ा है.
40 से 50% पूरा डाउन गया है इसमें क्या कंफ्यूजन है लोगों को.
हर्डल्स छोटे मोटे इंडस्ट्री को अभी फेस करना पड़ रहा है.
Both the BJP and the Congress have gone all guns blazing this election. On the urban debate tonight, Mirror Now asks, citizen issues or caste politics? How will Gujarat vote? Mirror Now report.
Good evening, you're watching the Urban Debate on Mirror Now. I'm Faye D'Souza. Thank you for joining us. It's a very simple question. Which way will Gujarat swing? This entire campaign has been about religion, has been about caste, has been about mudslinging. But the truth on the ground is very interesting. And we're a young channel. This is our first big state election that we're going to be tracking. So our young channels, young reporters actually drove through Gujarat to find out what is the feel on the ground? What do people feel? What do the traders feel? What do the farmers feel? What do the Dalits feel? What are the issues that people really care about? Is there really anti-incumbency, or are people happy with the way things are going in Gujarat and want to stay with the existing BJP government? Those are the questions we asked of the people on the ground. Today we want to understand, in spite of the fact that the campaign has been entirely about caste and religion and other largely irrelevant talking points, what is the truth on the ground, and will Gujarat actually vote for the people issues? Our phone lines are open. I also want all of our viewers to pick up the phone and call us and voice your opinion, especially if you're in Gujarat. Tell us how you feel. We're interested to know which way elections should be fought in our country, about what we need from our politicians and our governments, or about which caste or religion we belong to. Joining me on the show this evening, Zafar Islam of the BJP, national spokesperson of the BJP. Tom Varakan is a national spokesperson of the Congress party. Sharad Pradhan, very senior journalist. Martin McWan is the founder of the Navsarjan Trust, the Dalit human rights activist. Rifa Javed is the founder of Janata Ka Reporter. He's a senior journalist himself. Pratap Chandan, treasurer of the Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industry, chairperson of the Federation of Gujarat State Edible Oil Merchants Association, who brings in the business point of view. And I'm very proud to introduce to you, viewers, this evening, Disha Shah, a young reporter of Mirror Now who travelled through Gujarat. She's just gotten back just this morning. She spent the last couple of weeks on the road, where she's brought us stories from what's going on and the people she has spoken to. She spoke to a lot of young people in Gujarat. This is also an election of young people in Gujarat right now. We're going to try and find out what people really want. I'm also going to start, of course, with Disha. Disha, big questions to ask this time are about the Gujarat model of development, about whether or not the Patels are happy, the Dalits are happy, the farmers are happy. But I want to understand from you to begin with, are the young people happy? You spoke to a lot of young people, some in business, some in college. What were the kind of responses you got from those young people?
So Certainly, if we talk about Gujarat elections, we are just around the corner, just 3 days away from the first phase of voting for the Gujarat elections. And when we speak about young people, over 60% of the population there in Gujarat is young, and we got the real voices over there. And there are several issues when it comes to young students who are studying in universities. First and foremost, the unemployment because when we speak about students, their only aim is that when they pass out from the college after graduation or post-graduation, whether they will get the job of their dream. This is one of the important questions. And when we spoke to a lot of them, several had mixed reactions. They said that there are jobs that are available when it comes to their dream jobs, be it doctors or be it any other profession for that matter. But some of them went on to say that they will have to step outside of Gujarat and really work, because there are not enough job and employment opportunities available in Gujarat. So here we spoke about the young voices. But when it comes to traders, Faye, especially even traders after the GST rollout, here it is important because what they told us that demonetization had really had an impact on their business, over 50%. But later now with the GST rollout, few months were really bad business for them. But now slowly the Christmas and with the New Year and definitely with the wedding season on, because Gujarat is specially known for a very good cloth market when it comes to wedding.
So I just want to point out from statistics from what you just said that there is some concern with employment. Young people feel in college that they'll have to move out of Gujarat in order to get jobs. But the data tells a different story, because in Gujarat compared to other states ranks #1 as far as employment is concerned in comparison to other states, and that's a positive. I want to bring in Zafar Islam. Zafar Islam, how do you think the people of Gujarat are going to vote? I think it's very interesting that the BJP has not put out a manifesto for this election at all. There is no manifesto for the BJP. Do you believe that people are going to vote on issues, on the things that they want, or do you think they're going to be voting on caste and religion?
Well, Bharatiya Janata Party has a track record of 22 years of development, which everyone can see. You take any indicators and you will find that there's significant growth during the time when Bharatiya Janata Party was in power for last 22 years. Take the case of GSTP. When it was Congress rule, it was 71,000, absolute term I'm talking about 71,000 crore. Today it is 10,33,000 crore. Per capita income was 13,000 rupees, and now it is 1,41,000. You talk about the education. You had only 7 universities. Now you have 57 universities. You had only a few engineering college. You have more than 230 engineering college. In terms of primary education, you had only 51% dropout ratio. Today it has come up to almost 1.5%. You see in case of irrigation sector, in terms of absolute irrigation area where it has been irrigated, from 35 hectare, it has gone to 71.05. For micro irrigation, from 0 to 15 lakh hectare. Likewise, every space, every fair, you will see that there's a lot of development which has been resulted in the good policies which has been introduced by the Bharatiya Janata Party during last 22 years. And that's why we feel very, very confident of winning handsomely in the upcoming election. Whatever noise you see in the media about the Congress party and their supporters, that is only somewhere in the media, but the ground reality is very different. Because the kind of connectivity Bharatiya Janata Party enjoys with the masses with the people of Gujarat is something which cannot be replicated by any other party, and that is something which is our strength, and that's something which we feel that we will definitely be able to cross 145 to 50 seats in the upcoming election.
Right, 145 seats, says Zafar Islam. Pratap Chandan, Treasurer of the Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industry, do you agree that the track record of the BJP over the last couple of decades is enough to carry it through?
Well, As a businessman, I will not like to go into the figures of how many seats. Nobody can predict, not even media or your surveys are not always
No,
right.
I want to understand. No, I'm not predicting this. There's absolutely no point in predicting an election because there is no point. We're not fortune tellers. We're not looking into the future. I want to understand from you how business is doing. How the people in the Gujarat Chamber of Commerce feel. How are they voting? Are they happy? Do they want to continue with this government? Do they have issues that they would like the government to look at in the next term?
See, traditionally business class has, and especially the middle level business class has always been with the ruling party, that is BJP. Actually, the very origin of BJP is from this traders class. But since there had been issues regarding this demonetization and GST, there was the effect is different on different segments. And they have also, people from ruling class have also tried to smoothen out the things. How far their efforts will carry weight, and still there are many problems. So it is not that everything is over. Demonetization has been over, but GST is still having many issues in different segments of the business class. So how it might hurt our segment of people, and they might, the feelings may go a little bit against the ruling party. That is what I feel.
Zafar Islam, do you want to respond to that?
See, the impact of demonetization, GST, the impact of demonetization was very positive so far, the impact of GST. Yes, there was teething problem, and that teething problem, as the Honorable Prime Minister had very clearly stated, that those issues are being addressed and have been addressed adequately, and those, even if there are some issues which are outstanding, even now, that will get addressed as well. So these issues are not an issue at all. What is important for everyone to see that whether the development has taken place during the Bharatiya Janata Party rule, yes, a lot of development, whether it's the energy sector, whether it's the mining sector, whether it's the education sector, whether it's a HDI, if you see that everywhere. So you'll find that there is a lot of improvement during the last 22 years, whether it's road infrastructure, rural infrastructure, you name it, and you'll see that the numbers which was there in 95-6 and now there's a huge difference, and that is because of the policy of Bharatiya Janata Party. Having said that, I won't deny that, and I will accept that there were some issues relating to GST, and those issues were primarily due to the teething problem which everyone would have faced when you're migrating from one system to another tax system. But those issues have been addressed, and those people who are actually talking about earlier about GST issues and they were facing problem are no longer talking about it. Even some of the surveys which have suggested today that every surveys, irrespective of whether it's from X channel or Y channel,
Pratap Chandan, who's on the panel with us, is a member of the Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
The degree of variation is...
He's from the Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and he says there are still problems.
All I'm saying that every single channel,
yes,
just a 10 second more, 10 second more.
Go ahead.
Every single survey suggests that Bharatiya Janata Party is winning. Every single survey suggests that Bharatiya Janata Party is winning. The degree varies in terms of the margin, whether we will get 120 seats, 30 seats, or whether 110 seats. That is what they are projecting. Well, we feel that these are surveys when done maybe a week ago, when Rahul Gandhi and the other Congress allies, they were at peak of their, they had already peaked at that time. Now the Honorable Prime Minister has started canvassing in Gujarat. You will see that the votes will start moving towards us, and the surveys will start. If somebody will do survey now, today, they will have a very different picture than what they had done.
All right, let me bring in...
being presented have been done 10 days ago, or 5 days ago, 7 days ago.
All right, let me bring in the rest of my panelists at this point. Sharad Pradhan, senior journalist, do you agree? And I'm not asking for anyone to predict an election. I don't believe there's any point in that. But do you agree that the impact of GST demonetization is now behind us? Do you believe? And I'm looking at the Congress manifesto, Sharad Pradhan. I'd like for the Congress representative to join us in order to be able to answer this question. Quotas, reservation, a lot of caste-based promises that have been made. is right on top on this manifesto. Is that really how you believe Gujarat is going to vote, based on caste and quotas?
Well, the tragedy with most political parties in this country is, in any state, is that they cannot look beyond caste and religion. And that's the unfortunate part. And every time, no matter what happens, for them, the issue remains that they do not come down to the grassroots issues. The issues will actually affect the people. And I'm sure, as you rightly pointed out, the GST and demonetization will definitely impact this election. No matter how much the BJP tries to, do some kind of cosmetics to improve the situation for themselves. But fact of the matter is, the manner in which the BJP, particularly the Prime Minister, has been going around Gujarat, reflects some kind of jitteriness in him. And because Gujarat is extremely important for them, they cannot afford to even win Gujarat with them. The marginal victory would not reflect very well on Modi himself. So that's the reason that he's putting all his, all his pressure, all his energies are being devoted to Gujarat. And the way he's going about it, all kinds, and they are not letting, neither of the two sides are leaving anything, because it is very, very crucial for them, and even for the Congress, because the way Rahul Gandhi has been camping there day in and out, it is very obvious that it is extreme. This is an opportunity, because there is bound to be anti-incumbency. 22 years of rule for any party would be.
No, but
even, if you look into
Sharad Pradhan, you're suggesting that no amount of good work by any government makes a difference. At the end of the day, it's just incumbency and anti-incumbency that people vote for. Rifat Javed, is that true? Is anti-incumbency the only rule of the game? Or do you think, and this is very interesting data, which a lot of people outside of Gujarat may not know about, the fact that Gujarat does rate #1 in several things. It does rate #1 in the rate of employment it offers to its state people. It has done really well. People have received water in their homes. They have received electricity in their homes. Aren't they going to be grateful for that? Rifat Javed.
I mean, instead of I giving this answer, we should ask the BJP spokesperson, on this debate, that if everything was so hunky-dory, why did they have to send in 26 cabinet ministers, from Delhi to Gujarat to campaign, for the party? Why did they have to invoke religion? Why did they have to question Rahul Gandhi's, Hindu faith, whether he is a Hindu or Christian? Because these things are absolutely irrelevant if I, as a chief minister, have delivered on all the promises. Fact is, that hasn't happened. I mean, Mr. Zafar Islam have given all the data and all, and of course, we are not in a position to counter that. I would just highlight, based on my own travel to Gujarat recently. Look, Gujarat, if a party has ruled for 22 years in a row, I don't think there should be a single person living below the poverty line. Reserve Bank of India data would tell you that there are at least 1.02 crore people still living below poverty line. What does it say about the 22 years of rule? And what does it say about the so-called Gujarat model? Number two, health sector.
Well, let me respond to that. Let me respond to that.
The primary
Let me respond to that.
Just a second.
Let me respond to that,
I haven't finished. I haven't finished. Wait for your turn. Wait for your turn. Wait for your turn, Mr. Islam. Wait for your turn. Wait for your turn. I did not interrupt you. I did not heckle you. Have patience. I haven't finished. So, you go to the healthcare center. This is the state where in this year alone, more than 500 people have died of dengue. What does it say? What kind of health facilities are being provided? You have today, I mean, from, all the way from Prime Minister to spokespersons and all, the kind of language, the kind of public discourse that we are indulging in, that doesn't say anything about the confidence the ruling party should have, about its good governance. If anything, it shows that the party is extremely, sort of nervous about its poll prospect. Now, we don't know what will happen. We don't know what impact has, GST had in this election. We don't know what role the demonetization is going to play. But
yes,
the fact
let
is,
Zafar Islam
in the
respond.
last election, if you look at Spain
Please.
in 2012, just to say, I'll just finish. I'll take 10 more seconds. Last time in 2012, you didn't have certain important factors like, Hardik Patel, Jignesh Mewani or Kalpesh Thakur that you have today. And look at the kind of crowd that these guys are drawing in. Compare that to the Prime Minister who has been forced to cancel his rally in Surat, which was scheduled for tomorrow.
All right, let Zafar Islam respond. Let Zafar Islam respond. And I just want to, Zafar Islam, I just want to put this on record.
Mr. Rifat Javed.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Rifat Javed. Do you know the statistics? When the Congress was ruling, how many people were below the poverty line in Gujarat? Do you know the statistic?
In
and
22 years,
how we have moved the needle,
state will make
and how many people have come out of
the...
22
years is a long time. If the 16% of your population is still below poverty line, that should be shameful.
No. Mr. Rifat Javed, you are living in India and you must know the statistics as well about all the aspects before you are making a comment. Gujarat is one place, one state where the people who have been taken out from BPL, below the poverty line, is huge. And from today it's 16%, but when the Congress government was there, it was close to 40%. It is because of the policy of Bharatiya Janata Party and the good governance given by the Bharatiya Janata Party, people have been taken out of the below the poverty line. And that is the significant achievement of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Secondly, what is more important for us? No, you talked about the caste, creed and religion. We have never used religion. That is something which we never use. We are always focuses on development, and that is something our plan.
Zafar Islam, let's be fair. This entire campaign on both sides has been about religion.
We have fought on the basis of our achievement.
This entire campaign has been about religion and caste.
Talk to me on the statistics.
All right. Let me bring this back. Allow me to bring this back. I'm looking at data. One second, Zafar Islam. I'm looking at data from the Times of India reported on the 28th of October this year. This is a ranking in comparison to other states at this point, which is, I believe, the fair way to look at it. Not to look at, you're not competing with yourself from 20 years ago, but you're competing with other states. Gujarat ranks #1 in employment, in cargo handled in its ports, in PNG connections, in installed crude oil refining capacity. It ranks #3 in FDI inflows, #2 in investment proposed, power generation and CNG vehicles. These are the positives right now of Gujarat. The negatives: ranks #18 in literacy rate, ranks #14 in infant mortality rate per 1,000 births, ranks #13 in average farm income per month. It ranks #8 in life expectancy, ranks #5 in wasted children under the age of 5 and anemic children and unvaccinated children, and the sex ratio comes in at #6. So these are the positives and the negatives right now as they stand. I'm quoting the Times of India. I want to bring in Martin McQuan. Can you hear me, Martin? What are the challenges right now? If we look at the numbers, 40% of the population of the state of Gujarat are Dalits and Muslims and Patels. I want to talk about Dalits in particular. After Una, after the kind of protest that we saw, are people on the ground well fed, looked after, employed? And will they vote then in favor of the person who fed them, looked after them and employed them?
Well, I would say that Dalits constitute only about 7% of population in Gujarat, and about 14.5% of the scheduled tribes, and about 8.5%, 9% are the Muslims. Let me tell you that after Una, all the Dalit votes have come together, they're organized, because for the first time they saw something of the so-called development picture of Gujarat, where you can be flogged before a police station with a police baton, when the police are mocking at you. Total lawlessness. If you look at the heinous crimes in Gujarat, where the Dalits are forced to migrate out of their villages because of caste persecution, ever since 1989 till 2017, ever since the Atrocity Act came into place, there are 112 such cases where people are forced to leave their homes and villages. Of 112 of these cases, 86 have happened when Narendra Modi was the Chief Minister of Gujarat. So, for Dalits, it has been very clear that there may be development in Gujarat, but they have not been affected by it. No, the development has not touched them. Let's look at the other side of the development. The manual scavenging continues in Gujarat.
Yes.
I started work on manual scavenging way back in '96. After that, the whole national agitation took place. But even today, more than 35,000 families are engaged into this inhuman practice of manual scavenging. Oh my God. My colleagues were just speaking about the demonetization. Of course, Gujarat is divided between those who have and those who don't have. Those who don't have are very poor people. I went to the tribal areas and I asked people that how they suffered when the demonetization was happening. And somebody told me that, sir, no, we did not suffer at all. I said, why? Because we did not have a single note to change. So there are people who earn every day and eat their bread every day. The poverty line has been shifted and has been the lowest in Gujarat during the time of the Modi rule, that they lowered actually the poverty line, and therefore the numbers of poor are being shown less than the other other things. But if you look at Gujarat, whether you speak about Dalits, whether you speak about tribals, or whether you speak about the Muslims in the rural areas, or the OBC, most of them are landless agriculture workers.
Can I just give you some statistics, sir?
And Gujarat is one of the
I think you should also look at the numbers.
Minimum wages
right,
so even commenting about the
you come to the villages
religion.
with me. Yes, I'm looking at the numbers. I'm looking at the numbers. I've been working in the villages for 37 years of my life. I'm not sitting in a studio, or I'm not an academic person. I spent 37 years of my life sitting in the villages working with the poor people.
Right.
Yes.
Let me bring in one second. Martin, let me bring in the tiebreaker here, and I want to bring in Disha Shah, who is our reporter. She's a very young reporter who travelled through Gujarat recently, in the last 2 weeks, went to Una, spoke to families who live there. What did those Dalit families tell you, Disha? And these are stories we've been running on the channel, but what have they told you?
That's right, Faye. The situation for the Dalit families out there is not really pleasant, and it's very they are very unhappy with the kind of lifestyle, or the kind of way that they live, because the quality of the life that they have, because there is no water that is being given to them, there is no electricity that is being given to them.
Which part of Gujarat here are you talking about?
So I'm talking particularly about Una.
About Una.
About Una, where I met a family who was abandoned by the village just because they belong to a Dalit family. In a family, we had shown this on our channel, and these are the issues that we have.
What do you mean by abandoned by the village? What does that mean?
Abandoned by the village, it means because they are Dalit, they were not allowed to stay inside the village with the people out there. They were cut off from the electricity by the village panchayat out there. They live with a house built only with stones. They don't even have a proper house. They don't have government jobs. At the end of the day, their income depends on the farming out there, and that also is not really given and implemented on ground. So that is the situation
So you're telling me, while Saurashtra received water in every home, electricity in every home during the the reign of Narendra Modi as Chief Minister, these people are being excluded by their villages, not by government though.
Yes. By the villages, they have been excluded. I mean, in the village, they do get drinking water supply 24/7. They do get electricity. But when it comes to particularly Dalit families and Dalit involved, they are being not allowed to. Yes, they are being targeted in a very huge way.
Sharad Pradhan, go ahead.
Yeah, well, this clearly reflects that the kind of deprivation that the Dalits are suffering there, and so blatantly. And it also proves that Narendra Modi and his people have been cooking up statistics to show to the world that they all is hunky-dory in Gujarat. Fact of the matter is that things are, as your own reporter is seeing on the ground, reality is far different from the long list of statistics that Zafar Islam was quoting. In any case,
but Sharad Pradhan, it is true that Saurashtra received water in every home and electricity in every home in every village, and Una is part of that area. So the water and electricity has been supplied by the government. It is the villagers who are discriminating against each other and excluding each other.
No, but then what is the administration doing? The government, it's the government's job, the administration's job to see that some deprived, the people lowest in the rung are not deprived of the fundamental benefits that the government claims to be providing to each and every one. You know, it is very simple that people are being deprived.
Can I say something?
No matter, let me also tell you that religion is also being blatantly used by the BJP and the Congress both. That's no matter how much they talk about the issues.
Mr. Sharad Pradhan,
you have seen.
We are not using religion.
The religion is being.
It is Congress party which.
All right, let me bring in on that note. Let me bring in Tom Vadakan, spokesperson of the Congress party, the national spokesperson. Tom Vadakan joins us right now. Mr. Vadakan, thank you for joining us. The question really is that there's a lot going on in Gujarat. Our reporter has just come back from the field where she's travelled through Gujarat. There are so many different issues. Why is this campaign about caste and religion? Do we have nothing else to talk about in these political rallies? Do we have no other point to bring up other than each other's religion and caste? Why is the Congress's campaign still about caste, Mr. Vadakan?
I have heard your spokesman of the Bharatiya Janata Party speak. The script is the same. I have seen 8 spokesmen today speak, and the script is absolutely carbon copy. They talk about irrigation. They talk about electricity. They hardly get 7 to 8 hours of electricity for doing agriculture. As to the question of Dalits, you heard. I don't want to go into details about that. Fudging of figures
we are talking about
has
Gujarat,
become
not Karnataka,
activity.
sir.
Now you talk about the Congress.
Tom Vadakan sir, we are not talking about Karnataka.
No, let me talk. Mr. Islam, learn to listen.
Mr. Islam, let him finish, and then you can rebut.
Don't listen.
No, gentlemen, not at the same time, please. Let Mr. Vadakan finish, Mr. Islam, and then you can rebut him, you can disagree with him.
It doesn't work, Mr. Islam. People of Gujarat are not listening to you anymore. No, people of Gujarat are not listening to you. You can overtalk, you can do whatever you want. But let me tell you the ground reality today. Gujarat is reeling.
Will they listen
people
to Rahul
have started
Gandhi?
speaking.
Will they listen
As to
to
the
Rahul
question...
Gandhi?
Okay, hang on. Gentlemen, please, Mr. Vadakan, Mr. Islam, just give me 1 minute. Mr. Islam, please allow Mr. Vadakan to make his points and then you can rebut him, because otherwise my audience can't understand you if you're both speaking at the same time. Mr. Vadakan, please put...
He's talking about their people.
No, you're completely entitled to have a difference of opinion, just not at the same time. Mr. Vadakan, please finish what you're saying.
Mr. Islam is rattled. Have a glass of water, Mr. Islam. Don't give sir rattle. You're showing it on television.
No, Mr. Vadakan, finish making your points and then Mr. Islam can rebut.
Let me complete.
Yes.
Now, as to the question...
What is the reason to get rattled?
One at a time, please.
The point I'm making is we are not using any religious stage or platform. Yes, our leaders are visiting temples because of requests from the workers.
Mr. Vadakan, is it not true that your 3 allies right now are caste-based allies? Is it not true that your 3 young allies right now are caste-based allies? Isn't that caste politics? You've made a promise of a reservation that is caste-based, which now we understand legal experts say might not even be constitutional or might not even be, it might not be possible to even implement it. Isn't that caste politics, Mr. Vadakan? How is that different from religious politics? How is it better?
Let that be... No, I'll tell you. First, the accusation was religious. Now I move to the caste platform.
Can I ask him
when
some
a whole
question?
community is taken for a ride by a political party and have not delivered on the ground, there is an outrage. That community settles for the Congress, and we are looking for legal recourse on how to implement it, and we will do our best to implement it. This is an assurance. Now, to the ground reality, let me be very clear.
Let me ask.
Agriculture, total failure. Employment. People are losing employment. People are losing employment. GST, total failure. Can you look at your panelist, Chamber of Commerce? The man looks grim. This is the body language of people from Gujarat. There is the haves and have-nots.
Okay. All right. So let Zafar Islam rebut, and then I'm opening the panel up again. Yes, Zafar Islam, go ahead.
See, first of all, he's saying that we are using religion. Who is using religion is known to everyone. Mr. Rahul Gandhi, till now, never used to visit.
No. I'm not talking about religion on this panel. No. I don't. Quite frankly, Zafar Islam, I don't care who visits temples. It's irrelevant to me. I don't want to know who visits temples. I want to know who visits the fields. I want to know about minimum support price. I want to know about Dalit rights. I want to know about businesses. I want to know about jobs. I want to know about infant mortality. I want to know about people being fed midday meals, that sort of thing. I don't have any time or patience for religion.
No, but when he's misleading everyone, why did you stop him?
I did stop him. I did tell him that caste-based politics is just as bad as religion-based politics.
And secondly, we have a performance to back. What do they have? They are misleading the people by saying that they will give reservation, which is unconstitutional. So what Congress is trying to do, what they have been very good at earlier, to mislead the people, and that is what they are trying to do that in Gujarat as well. But that kind of a stunt will not work in Gujarat, because you are saying that you will give reservation, but how you will give reservation beyond 50%, something nobody knows. You have never spelled it out. You said you will explore, but the people of Gujarat would want to know that how you will give reservation of beyond 50%. Right. Secondly, you are talking about development. What does Congress know? The difference, the people of Gujarat knows there is a difference. The fight here is between somebody who can deliver, and that is the credibility of the Honorable Prime Minister has. That he has delivered. The Bharatiya Janata Party has the
22 years you have not delivered.
While the
22 years you have not delivered.
The non-political members of my panel, please. I want to bring in those voices one more time. Sharad Pradhan first. Sharad Pradhan.
Secondly,
I just like to ask Mr. Zafar Islam. Mr. Zafar Islam, there is a small question for you.
No, 5 of your
Mr. Zafar Islam, please let others also speak.
Who has the capability of to lead
Islam?
Okay, so Zafar Islam's points, let me put it in a nutshell, is that the Prime Minister has delivered that the Congress doesn't have local leaders and they're relying on reservations. That's the point he's making. Go ahead. Sharad Pradhan, go ahead. I'm bringing in the non-political panels now.
If they were not playing up religion, if they were not playing up religion, then why did they have to repeatedly call Yogi Adityanath from Uttar Pradesh? What else does
you cannot allow Sharad Pradhan to speak about religion, and you didn't allow me 5.
Okay, actually, let me just hang on. One second. Let me just put down some ground rules. Let's not talk about religion. I want to go back to talking about business, talking about people, talking about issues, talking about jobs. Sharad Pradhan, let's not talk about religion. I want to go back to Pratap Chandan. Pratap Chandan, the representative of the Congress party said you're looking grim because things did not go well. Do you agree with him? Are you looking grim, Pratap Chandan?
No. That is not the point. It is right. I will agree with the BJP spokesperson that development has taken place in the last 2 decades, but it is a long process, and meanwhile there had been in center another party's government also. So people may or may not give all the credit to this ruling party in Gujarat, but Gujarat has developed a lot during the last 2.5 decades. There is no doubt about it.
But do you agree that GST was a failure, which is what Tom Vadakan said? Do you agree with that?
No. GST is a modern system of tax collection, and it was necessary. But the implementation was a bit hasty, perhaps, or there had been many things to be pondered about before implementing it. And as I said, they did try sincerely to mend the things. So I won't say it is a failure, but it did hurt the business people especially the middle class people. That,
okay, and
I will
Pratap
definitely
Chandan
agree with Congress spokesperson.
Pratap Chandan, Zafar Islam at one point of this conversation said the only people still complaining about BJP are pockets of the media and pockets of the opposition. Is that true? In the Gujarat Chamber of Commerce, are you still having issues with GST, and have you received any sort of help from government?
Yes, government has listened to us. Government has made several amendments in this system, and they have still promised us to make more amendments. But still, there are issues for different segments of the business people. There are industrialists, there are exporters, there are small traders, there are small service providers. So many issues for many people are different issues are there. But they are listening to it, and still there are issues. Okay. I would say it is not perfect still.
Okay, it's not perfect. Okay, Rifa Javed, senior journalist. Rifa Javed, I think it's a design. Go ahead. The issues, Rifa Javed, the issues that people are struggling with.
I would just highlight 3 or 4 more issues just to illustrate that, you know, if BJP was so confident about its good governance, I think they ought to have focused their campaign around those achievements. Not, you know, number one, if the Prime Minister of the country, you know, mentions a Congress worker who has allegedly challenged the leadership of Rahul Gandhi, Shahzad Poonawalla, you know, he wouldn't be mentioning that from a public rally in Gujarat. That's number one. Number two, their spokesperson, and not just one, several spokesperson, wouldn't be indulging in name calling. For an example, today GVL Narasimha Rao calling Rahul Gandhi at Babar Bhakt. I mean, what's the need? What's the connection to Gujarat elections? I don't understand. Number three, you know, if the Prime Minister was so confident, and the BJP in general was so confident about its achievement of last 22 years, you know, the Prime Minister would happily been, you know, agreeing to convene the winter sessions of the Parliament, which is unprecedented, that we are going to be in the middle of December, and winter session of the Parliament hasn't convened, you know. So clearly these are the things that show that, you know, the BJP is clearly nervous about its poll prospect. I'm not concluding that, you know, these are all signs that the BJP is going to win, BJP is going to lose. We don't know what will happen, but the fact is signs are palpable that the BJP is suffering from extreme anxiety about perhaps losing, you know, what has been a citadel, you know, for the party for the last 22 years.
So we haven't talked about one group of people which I think is very, very important, and those are the farmers. Gujarat has registered 200 farmer suicides this year. Now, in comparison to the neighbouring state of Maharashtra, where the deaths have gone are 10 times as much. In the last few months, Maharashtra has registered 1,250 farmer deaths. So in comparison, 200 farmer deaths in Gujarat is a smaller number, but 200 is still too many. Disha, again, you travelled, you spoke to farmers. What are farmers in Gujarat telling you? Let's reiterate that they're getting water in their houses, they're getting electricity in their houses. Is that enough? Are they still unhappy? Are they happy? What's the situation on the ground?
When we talk about farmers and their issues, they say that the development has happened from the government's end when it comes to drinking water supply 24/7. But when it comes to bread and butter, the income, through Narmada River project, which was Prime Minister Narendra Modi's pet project, a very big project. So through that, they were supposed to get water on their farms, which they still have not received. So that is one major issue.
Which area of Gujarat are you referring to specifically?
So here I'm referring to Rajkot. Here I'm referring especially Saurashtra region, because there the farmers' plight and the distress is seen even more. And here even I'm talking about Bhavnagar, where 50 farmers have committed suicide. It's the highest district in the state. So they say that due to crop irrigation failure, because there is a scheme by the government where mandatory the government has to pay 50% of the insurance. So that is not given to them. The water they have not got. They say that the development has happened, but at the end of the day, they need income, they need money to survive, which in a way is not happening, and they themselves have to spend money, construct bore wells so that they can continue their farming on a daily basis. But their income has really reduced to merely 10,000 rupees per year, as against what they used to get when really the rains were good at that point in time, at least 1 lakh rupees a year. But now with no income,
and this is what the farmers have told you on camera.
Yes,
Martin,
this is the farmers, yeah.
Martin, is that what you have found as well?
Absolutely. What she's saying is a correct report. And I think the problem is that the newspapers or the media are not connected to this kind of realities. So, and if you go to like I went to a tribal area, which is hardly 17 kilometers away by a crow flight right from the Sardar Sarovar Dam. But that village had no drinking water facility available from Narmada or the irrigation both. So I think there are a lot of issues, but we're talking about the drinking water supply and the electricity. But let's take the city of Ahmedabad or Rajkot or Bhavnagar or Surat and go to the slums. Now slum is not a small number. And when you go to the slums, you'll realize that people are not getting even 1 hour of drinking water supply. And the quality of the water is far from being comparable. So I think there are issues, what your reporter has said is absolutely correct. But I also wanted to bring out another aspect to the whole thing is, when we look at the social indicators, I mean, we did one of the biggest survey in Gujarat on untouchability, about how much untouchability is there in Gujarat. We found that in 90.2% of the villages, Dalits cannot enter temples, though they are Hindus. In 54% of the government schools, Dalit children are seated separately during the midday meal. In 64% of the panchayats, Dalits are elected as sarpanches or panchayat members, but they have separate drinking water glasses or teacups.
Children are even denied admission in schools.
There are a number of events where Dalit sarpanches are there, but they are not allowed. Yes, but they are not allowed to hoist the national flag. If you look at, we have done a study about how many Dalit sarpanches are there and who have suffered the no trust motion being passed against them because.
But Mr. Martin, have you done this? Have you done this study in comparison to other states? Is it worse in other states? Is it better in other states? Have you compared to other neighboring states?
Oh yes. Yeah, I think what the problem is that Gujarat has both. So it has extreme richness and extreme poverty, and therefore it is a model where both the equality and the inequality can coexist. This is the problem. So definitely, if you look Gujarat, then people from West Bengal, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, they're all coming for labor here. But look at the living condition that they have. Near Nano Factory, I went the other day.
Right.
In a 10 by 8 room, 5 people sleep on the floor. They cook inside the room. They have bath inside, and they're paid. It's not 8 hours of work. They work for 12 hours a day, and they earn 220 rupees.
All right. I have to wrap up this discussion here because we've run out of time. But I want to appreciate every single member of this panel who had a conversation about the issues on the ground, not being blurred by any of the other things, but actually every single panelist brought forward issues on the ground. Now, obviously, Gujarat is going to go into polls. The first phase is just a few days away. And like we know from various exit polls, the BJP is possibly leading. From various opinion polls, I beg your pardon, that the BJP is possibly leading. But on this channel, we focus on the issues. And whichever party forms the government going forward, we will continue to bring forward issues to you. And I hope that these are the issues that you will look at. The Dalit rights, the food, the midday meals, food that's made available to children, the infant mortality rate, the jobs for people going to college in Gujarat so that they don't have to leave Gujarat in order to get the kind of employment that they want to get, and of course all of the other issues that we brought forward. The numbers that we're looking at this point and the data that's popping up shows us that the Gujarat model has been extremely successful in certain areas, and there are businesses, there are areas of industry that have done remarkably well. It is also, for anyone who's driven through the state, will tell you that the highways are fantastic and the infrastructure has grown and moved up tremendously. There are pockets of the state that have been left behind. We hope that any new government that comes into power takes a look at these pockets so that Gujarat can enjoy its extreme prosperity across the board without any differences. We'll be tracking the Gujarat elections very closely on this channel from the point of view of the issues that the people are facing on the ground as we continue to bring you updates of what's happening on the ground in Gujarat. Thanks for watching.